Welcome, this is Vtec Therapy, and today I have a unique video. Not what I normally upload, but a very interesting one nonetheless. Today I'm going to be comparing two short ram intakes simply because I have them in my possession and I thought it would make for an interesting video. Also stick to the end because I will be picking one of these two intakes to install on my RSX. So my car already came with a cold air intake. I've been owning this car for 8 months and I realized that the cold air intake is not really for me. I'm always worried whether it's a puddle that I'm driving over or also whether it's raining outside. I hardly even drive the car when it rains just because of how scared I am to drive it. But that's exactly the reason why I'm buying this short ram. It's simply to give me ease of mind or peace of mind whenever I daily the car. To start things off, I went with the Takeda, however you pronounce it. I went with this short ram intake because I wanted to stand out from the crowd. So I chose the underdog, but I soon regretted that decision. But the reason why I went with this is because I didn't want to get the Injen short ram intake because everybody and their mom has this in the Honda Acura platform. For the price, I'm definitely expecting a lot. This intake cost me $250 with taxes and free shipping. If you take shipping into consideration, it would have been close to $300. Now, let me read through the specifications this intake has, or the details. And I'm gonna read off of it right here. I actually have an iPad. I'm gonna actually put the part number right here so you guys know exactly what intake I'm talking about, and in case you wanna buy it. The intake itself is made for the Type S. It is carb legal in all 50 states. Also, it has a clear coat on the tubing to prevent oxidation and yellowing as well. It allegedly produces 8 horsepower and 12 lbs of gain, but obviously with these numbers, you take them with a grain of salt because they're not always accurate or you don't have the exact parts that they had when they did this test. Holds a dry air filter, and that's it. That's all that this has. Honestly, if it wasn't for this being my first time buying an intake, that would have been a red flag right there. So this is where the cons come in and why I regretted purchasing this intake. So for starters, this intake, when I first picked it out of the box, it felt super cheap. Like it just, I could tell this wasn't worth the price that I paid for. Also, in pictures, this intake looks a lot thicker in diameter, but when I received it in person, it actually was a lot smaller than I expected, actually pretty small. And I know I should have read the description to figure out exactly what the size is, but honestly, nowhere on the internet I was able to find the diameter of the inlet or the outlet of this particular intake to see if it actually matches my needs. To be honest, it seems like these guys hid this information on purpose. Also, it was badly cut. The breather holes on the tubing itself had metal chafings on it that I think are gonna come off when the unit is in use, which is bad. You don't want anything going into the engine, especially metal chafings. But the main issue is with Takeda's quality control. If somebody really inspected this unit, they would have noticed the deep scratches inside the tubing. And not to mention, they would have noticed that massive weld inside of the tubing as well. This is terrible for a lot of reasons. It's going to restrict air. It also is going to make that air turbulent. It's not bad, but it's not the ideal situation. The way intakes make power is by increasing airflow into the engine as opposed to what the restricting OEM boxes do. I think Takeda was too focused in the tuner style than the actual purpose of this unit. And that's exactly why I found out that Injen is the better brand. There's a reason why so many people are choosing this brand over the rest of them. Now with that said, let's run down the details that the Injen short ram intake offers, and you guys will be the judge as far as which one you would pick from there. Let me get my iPad real quick. One more time, 2 more times, whatever. Okay, so I'm gonna be reading off of this iPad here, so bear with me here. So the Injen short ram intake has a built-in velocity stack, a dry air filter, produces 12 horsepower and 9 lbs of gain. Of course, you take this with a grain of salt. Smooth intake pipe to reduce air restriction. See how these guys mentioned it on their description here? Carb legal for 50 states, 3.5 diameter tubing. They also told you the diameter of the actual tubing, which is true. The diameter of the engine is a lot bigger than the actual Takeda one, which is way smaller. Has ridges on the outlet and inlet to eliminate air leaks. Fits all Type S models, and the product number is gonna be right here so you guys could get it if you are interested in that. Also, Injen takes all the guesswork out of replacing the air filter. They give you the exact product number of that filter, and you just pop it into the Injen website and you'll be able to purchase that same replacement air filter. And on top of that, they offer a lot of accessories. For example, I actually want to get the hydro shield. So it's this thing that goes over your filter that actually makes the filter a bit water resistant. It's not completely waterproof, but it adds more protection, which is definitely a plus, and they give you the product number for that as well. So you have options when it comes to Injen. So this is a brand I know, and I should have gone with the brand I've known, and I definitely regretted that I didn't buy this one first, because now I have to return and do all this stuff, which is, it's not good, especially in the automotive industry. Like, these companies make it pretty much impossible for you to return stuff, but we're getting through it. Also, I didn't inspect the inside tubing for the Injen short ram intake. And to my surprise, it was actually pretty smooth, a lot better than the Takeda one, but it didn't come completely perfect. It has its flaws. It definitely had a couple of scratches here and there, but a major improvement over the Takeda tubing. It's a no-brainer. I'll be installing the short ram intake into my car. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely stay tuned, because in the coming weeks, I'll be installing this short ram into my car, and I'll be making a video of that as well. And if this video helped you in any way, let me know in the comments below. I would definitely appreciate that. I'll definitely be reading these comments. With that said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.